Highways of Destiny. Sam Carter had spent 20 years living out of the cab of his truck. To most people, the open road meant freedom. To Sam, it meant survival. He hauled steel across Pennsylvania, fruit out of California, and everything in between. Every mile was money, and every breakdown was debt. He was born in rural Ohio, the son of a factory worker. When the plant closed, his father lost everything. Sam swore he'd never let life corner him like that. At 19, he got his commercial license and climbed into a rig. He thought he'd make a quick living. Instead, he found himself chained to endless highways and tiny paychecks. The turning point. By his late 30s, Sam was exhausted. He had driven millions of miles, but he had nothing to show for it except worn boots and a second-hand pickup back home. One night, parked at a truck stop in Missouri, he looked at his ledger. After paying fuel, food, and company deductions, his take-home for the week was barely $600. He stared at the numbers until they blurred. Then he said aloud, "I'm building other men's empires while I'm stuck here broke." That night, Sam made a decision. He would buy his own truck, no matter the cost. The first rig. It wasn't easy. Sam sold nearly everything he owned and borrowed against his small house. With scraped-together cash, he bought a battered Freightliner with 500,000 miles on it. It coughed smoke and needed constant repairs, but it was his. Becoming an owner-operator was like stepping into another world. He called shippers directly, negotiated rates, and picked his loads. At first, the work was brutal. He slept less, drove more, and sometimes wondered if he'd made a mistake. But slowly, the money began to add up. Within a year, Sam had doubled what he once earned as a company driver. Building a name. Sam understood that trucking was about more than wheels and fuel. It was about trust. He delivered on time, treated customers with respect, and never made excuses. Word spread. Carter hauls it, Carter delivers. He turned down flashy spending and instead reinvested. He bought a second truck, then a third. He hired drivers he'd met on the road, hardworking men and women who wanted fairness. Sam gave them steady pay and bonuses, and in return, they gave him loyalty. By 2017, Carter Freight had a small fleet of 10 rigs. For the first time in his life, Sam wasn't just a driver. He was a businessman. The storm years. Then came the storm. When the pandemic hit, shipping collapsed. Rates fell through the floor, fuel rose, and competitors went bankrupt by the hundreds. Sam's drivers looked to him for answers, and he nearly broke under the pressure. But Sam refused to fold. He pivoted to hauling essential goods, medical supplies, groceries, equipment. He called mayors and grocery chains, offering services. Carter Freight trucks became lifelines for communities in need. By late 2020, while other carriers were gone, Sam's company had grown. He added contracts with hospitals and distribution centers. By 2021, his fleet had expanded to 30 trucks. The breakthrough. Opportunity often hides in crisis. In 2022, a large retail chain approached him with a regional logistics contract worth millions. To deliver, Sam had to scale up quickly, 50 trucks, warehouses, new software. Bankers doubted him. "You're just a trucker," one said. But Sam pushed through. He mortgaged everything again, secured investors, and signed the deal. His drivers delivered flawlessly. Carter Freight became a recognized logistics company. No longer just a trucking outfit, it was a growing empire. The man behind the wheel. Despite his new role as CEO, Sam never forgot the road. He kept his first Freightliner, the old smoky rig that had carried his dreams. Sometimes, when stress piled up, he'd take it out for a long run across the Midwest. Alone on the highway, diesel humming, he felt grounded. Reporters began asking about his success. He always said, "Trucking gave me everything. It broke me, taught me discipline, and then built me back up. I didn't become rich because I was lucky. I became rich because I refused to quit driving, whether it was a truck or a business." Legacy. By 2023, Carter Freight was worth over $60 million. Sam, once a broke driver sleeping in his cab, was now a wealthy entrepreneur. Yet his true pride wasn't the money. It was the drivers who called him the best boss they ever had, and the towns that said Carter trucks kept them alive during the hardest years. For Sam Carter, the American dream wasn't built in an office. It was built mile by mile on highways that never seemed to end, until they finally led him home.